So for my estimation, I'm going to be using a rounding method. So I'm going to take my two numbers I've picked, which is 157 plus 138. I'm going to take my 157 and round it up to 160. This. And then I'm going to take my 138 and round that up to 140. This just makes it more friendly, easier numbers to add. And then, so I'm going to take those two and I will get 300. So using the next following methods, we'll see if my estimation is correct. So we have our numbers now represented with our base 10 blocks. So my 157 is represented with 1 hundreds block, my 5 tens blocks, and my 7 ones cubes. And then my 138 is represented using 1 100 blocks, 3 tens, and 8 cubes. Go. So altogether, we have 2 hundreds, 8 tens, and 15 ones. So now we are going to take our ones and make them into a tens cube, since we have 15, and that is just too many. So we'll just add this all together. So now we have another 10, so we'll put that there. Okay, so now we have our final base 10 blocks. So now we have 2 hundreds, 9 tens, and 5 ones. So these represent, the hundreds represents 200, the tens represent 90, and the ones represent 5. So when you add those together, you get 295. So now we are going to do our equation pictorially. So I have my 157 represented just like the base 10 blocks, and then I have my 138 represented. So we are going to take our ones, our 15 ones, and move them into the tens. So we'll have to just cancel out 10 blocks. 1, 2. So now we have 10, and I'll just move it over to this one. And now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leftovers. This one. And we have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tens and 2 100s. So that represents 295. So now for the symbolic, we are going to break these down and collect similar terms. So we can separate this into 100 and then 50 tens and 7 ones. And then moving on to 138, we'll do the same, similar, 100, 30 tens, and 8 ones. Then we will go down to our hundreds and take our hundreds from either side. So we have 100 plus 100 equals 200. And then we'll go to our tens. So 50 and 30. So 50 plus 30 equals 80. And then finally for our ones, we'll do 7 plus 8 equals 15. So just to make things clearer, I'm going to rewrite it. So 200 plus 80 plus 15 equals 295. Equals 295. So for my personal strategy, I'm going to be using vertical addition. So I have my numbers laid out with 157 over top of 138. So we are first going to start with our ones. So we have 15 ones. So I'm going to write 15 ones. Now moving on to our tens, we have 8 tens. And now moving on to our hundreds, we have 2 hundreds. So now this just makes it easier to add. So now we go down 5 ones, 9 and 2, which gives us 295. So now to compare my estimate number that I used rounding to the actual number we used for all 4 of our techniques. So the estimate we got was 300. Well, the actual sum of the addition was 295. So I would say our method of estimation using rounding was quite effective, as it was only 5 off.